I'm so glad that you can join me this morning. Peace, love, and blessings. My name is Kiana Thomas, mompreneur, and today I'm going to talk to you about finding time while homeschooling, finding time for yourself while homeschooling. Now, we all know many will choose to homeschool this coming year. Why? Because of the fears of sending their child back to an environment in which they are so unsure about. They don't know the routine, they don't know what it's going to look like, the interactions between student to student, between student to teacher, just all of that. All of that is unknown, and it's frightening for parents right now to have to worry about that and even think about sending their kids back in an environment like that. Now, some parents may not have a choice. They have to work, they have to do some other things, and that's perfectly fine. But many parents, it is going to be an influx, good morning, of homeschooling kids this coming school year. So with that being said, my goal is to educate those parents that are new, even those parents who are maybe not so new, but they are still kind of unsure and still need a little help, and it's a little frustrating for them. So that's why I'm here. I want to give you those tools. Good morning, good morning. Finding time for yourself. When you get into that routine of homeschooling, you may be excited, you may not be excited, but you just feel like you have to do it because you don't know what to do concerning sending your kids back to school. So you feel like it's your obligation to keep them at home, to keep them safe. So with that being said, what are you going to do when you've schooled them all day and you're tired and you look up and they're still there? You're like, dang, can I get a break? So today, I'm going to show you and talk to you about how you can get that break even with your kids being at home with you. Finding time for yourself. The first and most important thing, and a lot of things you'll hear me say, start with a schedule. Start with a schedule, start with a plan for the day so you are clear and your children are clear on what that routine will look like, and it'll help you have a smoother day. The next thing I would tell you is to find a homeschool community. Find some friends. Find a buddy. Because guys, especially now that we are like quarantined, like if you know me, hello, good morning, then you know we school. The world is our classroom. We don't school at home. However, that has changed due to COVID, right? So we can no longer be exploring the world and out there, hey, good morning, out there in the world. We have to stay at home. So with that being said, it may get lonely. So connect with some homeschooling friends, have your kids connect with some homeschooling friends, and I'll give you some examples on how you can do that. One of the things we did this year since COVID, we started doing Dance Fridays. What did we call it? What did we call it, Leah? On Fridays. Dance All Fridays or something like that.
It's called dance. It's Dance Party Friday.
Okay, dance party. Thank you, Leah. Dance Party Fridays. And we would gather a bunch of friends and we would do a Zoom party and just dance to music that the kids enjoyed. And we did that every Friday. So that's a way to connect. The kids got to see each other, they got to dance, and they got to have fun. So that's a way to connect. Another way you can connect is through Facebook groups. There are a lot of Facebook groups now. There were before, but there's even more now popping up once again as a response to COVID. So you can find a lot of homeschooling. I'm an admin of one of the Facebook groups, and it's called Homeschooling Resources and Support. So feel free to join that. A moderator, and that's another group that you can join. But join Facebook groups, go out there and just put a message out there. Hey, I'm looking for a homeschool buddy, or I'm looking for a friend. And that way, when you start getting stressed, when you are getting challenged and you are like frustrated, you can get on the phone or get on texting your buddy and for encouragement. So find a buddy. Okay, the next thing I would tell you to do is offer and accept help. No one knows it all. No one has all the answers. And when that is the case, you need to be able to reach out to someone who does. Don't feel obligated or feel like you have to have all the answers right now. Okay, put them in the link. I don't know if I have the link. I'll try. Give me 1 second. Don't feel like you have to have all the answers right now. It is okay if you don't have all the answers. So when you don't have the answers, you reach out for help. And again, that's where you can go to the Facebook groups. That's where you can go to, and I'll also mention homeschool co-ops. So whatever city and area you're in, type in homeschool co-op Raleigh. Like that was a city that I used to live by. So homeschool co-op Raleigh. And then a list of co-ops will come up, and then you can go there, you can call them and see, are you guys still planning on meeting this year, or are you doing Zoom? You know, a lot of them are still participating, but they may be again transitioning to a different format. So that will be another way for you to find friends and also for your child to connect. You're welcome. You're welcome. Also, the next thing I will tell you to do is to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. How do you do that? You have to start exercising. And exercising doesn't have to mean good morning. Exercising does not have to mean, going full-fledged, jumping jacks and running around and doing all of that. No, exercising can mean just walking around the block. But whatever you need to do to get your blood pumping and get your body flowing. But exercise, you will find that you will have a whole lot more energy. You'll have a whole lot more energy when you exercise and drink plenty of water. Now with that, you also have to have a balanced, healthy diet, eating good fruits and vegetables. Okay, and I know you may say, I don't have the money for that because it is expensive. Then start growing your fruits and vegetables and start replacing one item versus trying to replace it all at once. You can start slow, but whatever you do, try to get those things in you. Try to get good fruits and vegetables and a lot of water, and that will help your brain, guys. You'll find, especially when you're at home a lot, that brain fog. But I'm telling you, when you start drinking a lot of water and you start eating those healthy fruits, good morning, and vegetables, you will have a lot more energy than you've had before, and I can attest to that. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Okay, so make sure you're taking care of yourself, and that is exercising, even if it's walking, doing something small, because everybody can't do the strenuous exercising. That's understandable. Start small, drinking lots of water and getting a lot of fruits and vegetables. Okay, the next thing I will tell you is don't try to do it all in one day. When you look at that schedule and you look at a plan of what is required for homeschooling, like in my state, kids have to have reading, writing, math, and I think science. It's like 4 subjects, like core subjects. And you're like, man, oh my gosh, I gotta do X, Y, and Z. No, it's a certain number of hours, so they have to have 180 days in my state. So every state is different. You need to look up the laws in your state. And you can Google that. It's Homeschool Laws, North Carolina. I'm no longer in North Carolina, but that's what it says. Homeschool Laws, North Carolina. Okay? So whatever that looks like for you, just make a plan to get it done, but understand you don't have to get it done every day. You don't have to do it every day, all day, because that, again, it's going to wear you thin. And you are going to be like, I can't do this. So don't feel like you have to do it all in one day. Just make sure that you do address the topics that are required by your state, but just know that you don't have to do it all at once, and you don't have to do it all by yourself. You can outsource some things. Like, let's say you're not strong at math. Maybe go to places like at the outschool.com, I think. I don't know. I'm not, because I don't use those resources. I'm a former educator, so I create my own resources. I utilize library books and games and different activities like that. But there's a lot of resources for parents who don't want to do it themselves. You can outsource it. Time for Learning, I think, is one. But again, I don't know much about those companies because I don't utilize them. But I see the advertisements, so I know they're out there. Outschool, I think there's just independent teachers teaching different classes. So they have pretty much a class for everything. If language, let's say your child wanted to study Japanese or Chinese, that may be a good resource for you to use outsource. So don't feel like you have to do it all yourself. The next thing I will tell you is to teach your children and prepare them to work independently. So you have to teach them how to do it first, right? You got to give them the roots. You have to give them the foundation. Once they have that foundation, then they'll be ready and prepared to do it on their own. So a quick way to burn out, especially if you have multiple children, like I have 4, and their ages are 3, which I don't consider my 3-year-old being homeschooled. She's just along the ride with us, but I do give her activities because while the rest of them are schooling, she wants to school also, and that's okay. So the ages of my children are 3, 6, and 8. I have twins. The 8-year-olds are twins. And can you imagine when you have, hello, good morning, all of these kids at once and they're all pulling on you and not working, they all need you at the same time? Can you see how stressful that'll get real quick? We not doing that. So what you need to do is you go over here and you work on this, and then I'll work here with this one. And so but again, you establish that first, establish that routine and teach them how to do it. You can do it in a few ways with cards. I'm gonna just hold this up real quick. But this is something I used to do in my classroom. So let's pretend that this is a tent of an index card, right? So it's a tent. And on one side is I'm okay, and the other side is need help, right? If they're okay, they'll put their tent up on the side that says I'm okay, and they continue working. If they need help, they put their tent up on the side that says need help. And if they're stuck, then while they're waiting for me, when they need help, they do something quietly, which is read a book, do a coloring page, doodle, whatever. But do something quietly until I'm able to get to you. That way everybody's mommy, mommy, mommy. But I know I could just visually see real quick whoever needs help. Trust me, that is a game changer. So try that trick and let me know if you try it and how it works. Okay? So where was I? Preparing your children to work independently. And that leads me to the next one, is spending time with each child independently. Again, if you have multiple children, it could seem like everybody is always on you all the time, and it could also seem for the other children that they're not getting enough attention. And so a way to combat that is, again, scheduling. Scheduling, guys, is going to be your lifesaver. Trust me. Schedule a time each day, and it doesn't have to be on the same day. So again, for me, I have 4 children. So they have their own day, pretty much. Monday is one child, Tuesday is one child, Wednesday is one child, and Thursday is one child. Now, that's how I choose to do it. If you want to do it and you spend time with them each day, all day with each child, then that's fine with you. Figure out what works for you and your family. But it is important in whatever you do, just make sure you do it. Make sure you're spending time with each child so that they're receiving you by yourself and that attention from you, so that they know they're loved and it's not, they don't get lost in all the craziness and the busyness, if you get what I'm saying. The next thing I would tell you, hold on one second, guys. I'm stepping on the cord. The next thing I would tell you is, in your homeschool, laugh often, have fun, make it a fun environment, relax. Yes, it is a big task. Yes, some days are going to be challenging, but guess what? You can do it, and it's going to be okay. So get out joke books. Like, let's say if everybody is having a rough day, there's a lot of whining going on. Stop. Just stop the game plan. Just stop the schedule. Just stop the schoolwork, whatever it is you're doing. Take a walk outside. Get some water. Get some water. Go get some fresh air. Just let them know that it is okay. When you see everybody's like, and things are just not working, and you're steady, come on, guys. No, just stop the plan. Let's say, let's switch gears, turn some music on, dance, change the vibration. Because right now, everybody, they just are not enjoying themselves. And you don't want that experience or that feeling to be imprinted in your children's mind concerning homeschooling. You want them to love and to enjoy it. You don't want them to whine about it. So you want to find a way. What is that children's motivator? Find a way, hey, good morning, to motivate them. What is their motivator? And concerning their motivator, whatever their motivator is, that is what you want to do, and try to encourage them to do their work or etc. So you want the environment to be happy, to be loving, and to be carefree. You want them to enjoy learning. You want them to want to learn. Listen, so we school year round, and our schedule is for the most part, our schedule is 5 weeks on, 1 week off. And then in between there, sometimes we do like 2 weeks, like around the holidays, we'll do 2 weeks. And then there's another time we do 2 weeks, so whatever. But for the most part, 5 weeks on, 1 week off. Listen, when we're not schooling, my kids are asking us to school. They are they enjoy it that much. Is it school today? I'm like, no, oh man, oh man, when we don't have school. That is the attitude you want your kids to have about school. You don't want them to be excited that there's no school and dread when there is school. So create an environment that is fun, that is welcoming, that is encouraging. That is the atmosphere and the attitude that you want your kids to have about school. Okay? And then I will also say, don't school all day. Pick a certain time. Like I think for us, it takes maybe 3 hours now. In the past, it took 2. And again, depending on your children's age. So my children are getting a little older, so they'll have a little bit more tasks. So it'll take about 3 hours. But within that time, take a lot of breaks. Again, when I was a teacher, I did this thing called brain breaks in my school, in my classroom. And like every 30 minutes, we would just stop. 5 minutes, I will allow them to get up and get water. I just put the timer on for 5 minutes and they can do whatever they stretch, whatever they wanted to do. Doodle, take a breath of fresh air. Can I step outside? Because my classrooms, thank God, had always been right next to the outside door. Can I just go step outside really quick? And I'm there, go right ahead. 5 minutes, and then we get back in and we get right back to work. So allow your kids to do that, and you will be surprised at the difference it makes. You'll be surprised. The whining, all of that. Thank you. Yes, the whining and all of that they may start doing. That's because their brain is in overload. They've had enough. And so that's your cue to say, okay, let's relax, let's hold on for a minute, let's switch gears and do something else. And you will be surprised at the difference that will make in your homeschool. So try to let me know. Let me know how that works out for you. Okay, the other thing about cutting school off at a certain hour, this is something that I work on. I didn't always do it, and I noticed a change, but this is something that I work on and I try to pay close attention to. When it's getting towards closer to the time for my husband to come home, I want school to stop. If we're still schooling, because now we're not schooling from 8 to 3. Now we may school from 12 to 3 or whatever. So I don't have a set time, so I'm kind of unschooled in that way, although I do have a lot more structure than parents who do unschool. But I don't have a certain time that you have to be up by this time, we have to get going. No, we're kind of free-spirited in that way. When they get up, okay, we'll get the day started. And I ask them sometimes, do y'all want to do school now, or do you want to do it after lunch? Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it this, whatever? And I allow them to choose most days. So with that being said, if we started school late that day, I want to have it done and finished before Daddy gets home. Because another thing, we don't have a homeschool classroom by choice. We have the room to have a homeschool classroom, but I decided not to. Because and my husband and I, we want our home to look like a home and not like a school. And so with that being said, we school at the dining room table. So we need to have that table cleaned up and all that stuff up before we get ready for dinner. So that's another thing. Have a set time to have school done, cleaned up, and prepared for the evening time at the house. Okay? And then piggybacking off of that, make sure you keep the romance going between you and your husband. You don't want to get so consumed in schooling and what the kids need that you forget about your husband's needs. Keep that fire going, because it's a need for both of you. You need that, and so does he. So whatever is going on in your homeschooling, you're around the kids all day, keep that connection and that fire hot between you and your husband. And I'm sure you know ways that you can do that. If not, send me a DM and we can talk about it one-on-one. Okay? All right, and then the next thing I will tell you is to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Guys, nobody is perfect. Nobody has all the answers. We are all, most of us, some people just crazy. They just don't care, right? Some people we ain't going there. But for the most part, most people are just doing the best that they can, the best that they know how. Give yourself grace. It's okay if you don't have all the answers and you don't know everything. It is okay. And I know one of the biggest fears for new homeschooling parents is, am I teaching my child everything? I don't want to fail my child. I don't want my child to miss out on anything. You know, our goal as a parent is to give our children the best that we can possibly give them. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining me. That is our goal as a parent. But give yourself grace, even when you're in pursuit of that goal. And know that it's okay if they don't go to the park today. It's okay if they don't do X, Y, and Z today. It's okay if y'all don't bake those cookies today. Give yourself grace and just put it on the schedule for the next day. But whatever you do, don't put too much on your plate because you can't do it all. That's just what it is. There's no way you can do it all and still feel good and still feel balanced. Now I'll go with that to the next point. Teach quiet time in your schedule and with your kids. Teach it and make sure you include it in your schedule. And how much quiet time you need that's up to you. Do you want to include a quiet time in the morning and in the evening, or just in the morning, or just in the evening? We personally, it just depends on how busy the kids are that day, how much we've done. You know, I may do 2, but most of the time I just do 1. And that quiet time, last year I think it was 30 minutes. This year will be 45 to 50 minutes. Again, as they get older, we do more. So in that quiet time, they can listen to audiobooks, they can read their own books, they can color, they can play a game as long as it's quiet. And then they can't call me. They can't ask me no questions. They can't, no, that's my time. We'll put a sign up, quiet time, so everybody is aware. Their brains are transformed. Their brains are conditioned. Oh, quiet time. This is my time to do X, Y, and Z and leave mommy alone. And during that time, that's the time you get to do whatever it is that you want to do. And you let them know, I am not available right now. I am not, and it's okay. A lot of moms have guilt on doing that. Like, oh, my kids need me. They will be okay for an hour. If you're right here, they right there in the next room, you're right here, they will be okay. You can keep an eye on them, even if y'all all in the same room, reading a book, whatever. If you sitting there reading a book and they, it's fine. Trust me, they'll be okay. So, but you have to have that time for yourself. Now, this is another time saver I will tell you to do. For those parents who grade papers, guess what you can do? This is also something I did when I was a teacher. I didn't grade a lot of paper, and since this was before they had Scantrons where you can electronically grade. This was before that, when you had to grade them yourself. Okay, what I did was, we're gonna self-grade. Switch papers with somebody. Or I would grab them all the papers and mix them up and then hand them out. So whoever you got, it wasn't your own paper. And at the bottom of the page, they had to put check by. So who was it graded by? And it was nothing serious, so there was no ethics or ethical. There was nothing like that. It was something that was perfectly legal and you could do it. And so that's something you could do in your homeschool. Have your kids, of course, you got to provide them with the answer key, right? So provide them with the answer key and have them grade each other's papers. And guess what? They're also learning while they're doing that. Guys, y'all gotta find ways to free up your time and start giving some of these tasks to your children and don't feel like you have to do it all yourself. Okay? So that's all I have. Teach quiet time and allow your children to correct papers. I'll go over and recap that really quickly as we get ready to end. Finding time for yourself while homeschooling your children is a major issue. A lot of new homeschoolers have. So here are my tips. You want to start with a schedule. Find a friend, find a buddy, join a co-op, a homeschool co-op in your area. Offer and accept help. Although you are new, there are some things and some tools and things that you know that someone else may not know. So offer your help when you can and accept help when you need it. Feel free to accept help and know that it's okay. Take care of yourself. Exercise, even if it's just walking around the block, doing something just to increase your blood flow and get more energy. Exercise, drink plenty of water, and eat fresh fruits and vegetables when you can, even if it's replacing one item on your plate. So for an example, you may have burgers and fries. Instead of having fries, replace the fries with broccoli, green beans, whatever, some other type of vegetable that you enjoy. Start small if this is not a way that you do it right now. So take care of yourself And then don't try to do it all in one day. It's okay. You don't have to get it all done. Make sure you're keeping up with the standards that your state requires of you, but don't feel like you have to do it all in one day. Prepare your children to work independently. Teach them how to work independently because you can't be everywhere at once. So teach them how to work independently. Piggybacking off of that, find time to spend with each child alone. So again, like for me, each of my children have a day, and that day we cook. We just spend time, but that day is their day, and that's when they, mommy and that child cooking in the kitchen, and we doing different things. So find time for each child if you have multiple children. Laugh often because things will get crazy. You'll want to cry, you'll want to scream. Don't do that. Just laugh it off. Just laugh about it. A cup of milk is spilled. You can do two things. You can go off, you can cry, you can laugh. Which one of those emotions are going to bring the better outcome? So just think about that. Cut off school at a certain hour so you can prepare for the later half of the day. Get your minds transition to the next phase of the day so you're not feeling like you're schooling all day. And that creates an environment and a welcoming environment for your husband to come into and to be welcomed home in a clean space where everybody is just like ready to see daddy. Okay, so cut the school day off at a certain time, preferably before your husband gets home, so the house is in order when he comes in. And that goes to the next point. Keep the romance going between you and your husband. There's a lot going on. There's going to be a lot pulled at you, and that's why you need to find ways to delegate to your children and still keep the romance going between you and your husband. Give yourself grace because there is a lot, like I say, but it's okay. Give yourself grace and know that if you make a mistake or if you didn't get something right, you have a new day tomorrow to try it all over again. Teach quiet time in your daily routine, whether you do it 2 times a day, once a day, whatever, but teach quiet time so that gives your brain a break and gives your children a break and gives you a break from your children because we all need breaks, right? And then allow your children to correct papers in the homeschool and all of that. There was something else I thought about when I was just in teach quiet time. Oh, I was going to talk about, and this may be a different line, planning during that quiet time or planning during the week versus on the weekend. So that may be my next topic. Let me know if you want to hear more about that. And guys, that is all that I have. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you spending your time with me this morning because I know you have many options, but you chose to spend it with me. Peace, love, and blessings. Again, my name is Kiana Thomas, mompreneur, homeschool with me. Let me know if you have any questions or need any assistance of any type because I am here to help. Peace and blessings. Talk to you soon.